Welcome back. I'm going to be going into some of the top altcoins to buy for this month. But before I get into it, make sure to understand that we are still pointing to some sort of downwards momentum in Bitcoin, and we've seen these altcoins kind of slow down in momentum. With that being said, we're going to be going through strategies in this first part of this video. Make sure to really stay here and understand that so you guys can mitigate your losses and make sure to be as profitable as you can. But without further ado, make sure to like and subscribe to this video, and let's get into it. Before we get into the altcoins, you need to know what Bitcoin's trend is showing. Your altcoins are going to depend on Bitcoin's momentum, what price is Bitcoin, where is Bitcoin trending, in order for their volatility and for their price. So what do we see with Bitcoin right here? Why did I draw these yellow lines? Well, this represents the volume, right? This is the volume indicator on the daily, and every single bull market, we see this volume increase. And then we have some sort of lower volume when we're at nearing the top. And we saw that. And then we saw this drop down where this volume increased dramatically on the red side. And this is showing that the volume is dying down. There's not as much liquidity in the market. This is people pulling out of the market right here. And we've seen this in the previous cycles as well. Very, very important for you guys to realize that when we see this kind of dive down, this is a good indicator that the volume is not there. The liquidity, the money that is going to be flowing into Bitcoin is not really present at the moment. We need to see that volume pick up, but there's still going to be some sort of volume and some sort of liquidity that's going to come when we have these dips. And we haven't seen these altcoins perform as good as they did on these other dips that we had in the previous month or so. So it's kind of pointing towards the liquidity and the money is kind of slowing down or bleeding out in the market for these altcoins. So the gains are not going to be as good as they once were, but we're still going to be trying our best to get as much as we can. And let's understand where Bitcoin is at on this smaller time frame, right? So let's actually go to the 30 minutes. And we see that we have this trend resistance line as of right here. We have not been able to break out of this. We've tested it multiple times. This is resistance on where Bitcoin can go. If we break out of it, we're going to have some sort of uptrend form, but we haven't been able to. And we've tested it again, and now we're on this downtrend. So I do believe that we will probably have some sort of uptrend around this 34K to 35K area is when we'll be acquiring these three altcoins that I'm going to talk about. But we're going to be very, very careful on setting stop losses, on really mitigating our risk so that we can be profitable in such a market that we are in currently. And let's get into these altcoins, but just another understanding that we are still in a downtrend, guys, with Bitcoin. Yes, we have these pumps, but we still haven't broken through this. And until we break through this, we are still currently in a downtrend, which means lower volatility, lower liquidity, lower pumps for these altcoins. Just to show you guys an example, this is going to be our first coin, but the example is down here in the volume. As you guys can see, this was the bull market, right? And when we have these downward momentum with these altcoins and the volatility is extremely high, that indicates some sort of bear market where the volatility is probably going to die down, not going to be as large of pumps. As we saw here, we had over 100% with VeChain then. But what I have with VeChain right now is I have these trend resistance lines drawn, which are in red, and this trend supports. I do think we'll be able to reach these levels, and I see these as very, very good entry points. But you guys need to make sure to factor in your stop losses. You guys could do a stop loss or a trailing stop loss, meaning that it's going to be trailing your buy order if you do a trailing stop loss, which if you go up 5%, right, you would have around a 5% trailing stop loss, which means, let's say you go up 10%, you will have 5% in profits, and if that dips to 5%, it will take your profits for you already. There's multiple avenues to go about doing this on Reddit. I would definitely look up suggestions on that. I will link some in the description for you guys that will explain it perfectly. Or go on YouTube, right? YouTube's a great place to learn stuff like this. I do see VeChain being able to take that dip down to around these green buying levels, and I do see the opportunity for around 15 to 10% off of these trades. That's still a really good amount of money that you guys will be able to make off these trades, considering the fact of the type of market that we're in currently. That is still profitable. If you guys are making 15%, 10%, that's an amazing trade. And I do see this one as very predictable. VeChain it's more of predicting Bitcoin and how it correlates to VeChain. I do think these levels are possible, especially with the momentum in VeChain and where Bitcoin is at. but really make sure to be patient, to be strategic if you guys are going to be buying altcoins now, or else you will be getting burnt, especially with the volatility that we've seen to the downside. And I just want to educate you guys and help you as much as I can. So really make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. The next coin I'm going to be going into is Solana. And with Solana currently, we don't have too many trend lines on the shorter time frames because it was so volatile. There was large news that came out about Solana, and whenever that happens, these coins, as you guys can see with this volatility, they spike more than others because there's news about them, a lot of hype, and I do see this being able to get to these lower levels around 37, 36, and 35, but I do still see them pumping back upwards. And you guys have to understand, if these coins have news and hype and it's valid and it's actually something that will help increase the price, especially you will see some sort of dip on the downside incurring after Bitcoin takes a little bit of a dive. This is normally what happens, and I do see this as a great opportunity to make some profits on Solana. I do think it will be able to recover fast from these dips just because of the news that just came out. So I do see this as a great opportunity to get some buy orders on Solana and possibly make upwards of around 12 to 15% on Solana. We're not looking to make hundreds of percents, guys. We're just trying to stay consistent, stay in profits through the times that we are in. And you guys need to be consistent if you want to be successful in crypto. It all comes down to how consistent can you be? Can you be profitable every week? Can you be profitable every day? And if you can, I promise you will be successful long-term in crypto. And you guys can still be holding onto these coins. You can if you want. I'm just going to show you some opportunities on some short-term buy orders. And if the market does flip, and we do get that bullishness, that's going to be great. It's going to be a win-win, but we want to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That's why you guys should always be setting stop losses. Just another reminder to you guys, right? So we saw Solana take a large upwards momentum swing up, then we had this large dip, and then we saw this large upwards momentum again, even through the tributable times that we had. Went up around 22%. That could possibly happen again, but I'm just trying to aim for around 12 to 15% from these orders. With that being said, Solana is looking somewhat great of a trade, but let's get into some other ones as well. My next coin is going to be Matic. We are very familiar with Matic on this channel. We've been trading it for quite some time. I've been doing very, very well on it with the volatility that we have seen. But let's get into our profits zones and our buy zones for Matic. Well, you guys can see, look at these trends that we've seen in Matic. This is when the news really exploded. This is when the hype came to the coin. We saw this large volatility, but it has been slowly running out of gas, right? After every dip, we see a larger swing to the upside. That's how you know momentum slowing down. We see that in most of these coins. So we know that we're not going to be aiming for hundreds of percents if they get down to these buy zones that we have. We're just trying to follow the trends. We're currently in a downtrend in Matic. We have been for quite a while. And I do see some sort of recovery and some sort of bounce upwards at these zones here. A lot of people and a lot of investors, tight community with Matic, and I do see that having a large representation of once it gets to the lower dollar side of around $17, $12, $06, we're going to see some sort of push to the upside. But we are still in this downtrend. I think one more dip with Bitcoin will push this down to around this $17 zone and around this $12 zone and $06, and we will see a lot of buying activity once Bitcoin recovers from that. And we're just preparing, guys, and you could still keep your other positions, but I just recommend have a stop loss ready or have some liquidity on the side, have some money in your portfolio that is open to trade with, right? You guys have these lower buying orders. You're not really trading. You're just buying these after there's dips at these levels of where these coins are trending towards, so you guys can yield some percent. You don't need to trade with your entire portfolio. You guys can hodl. You guys can do whatever you want. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving financial opinion on something that I do believe would benefit some of you guys. Would be just to have some of your portfolio off to the side, so when these dips do happen, you guys could buy them at safe levels. Doesn't mean to buy and hodl every single dip. Just make sure to be profitable, be consistent, and you guys will be doing very good in crypto. But with that being said, yeah, in a downtrend with Matic, I do believe that we'll push below this support resistance or the support trend right here, and we did it once, and I do think we're still a little bit below where we were right there. I do think that we're going to be able to reach these green buy zones right here and see some upside movement with Matic. Yes, with that being said, guys, be very careful in the times that we are in right now. I'm going to be following the market very closely, trying to help as many people as I can. I just want you guys to be safe. I want you to understand that you don't need to go for these 10, 20x's or these 200%, 100%. Just making 2% a day, 1% a day, even 10% a week is amazing. And building a strategy, building a foundation for you to be successful in is what I'm trying to do for you, right? We have books in the description. Please read them. They will help you with investing completely free, understanding TA, and I'm going to be doing TA tutorials here. So really make sure to slap that like button and hit that subscribe button, and that's going to be the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed.